And I believe we're live. Hello, everyone, and thanks again for joining another one of our live webinars hosted by PSPDFKit. My name is Richard. I am part of the sales team here at PSPDFKit, and we'll be leading this demo primarily. I am going to give everyone a few more minutes to join before we get started. And then we'll get going. Okay. Awesome. So we'll go ahead and get started. This is being recorded, so anyone who registered, it will be sent to your email thereafter. So if you miss anything or there's something you want to pull out of this, you will have a recording of it sent to you. We also post these on our website, so you're able to go get access to any webinar we do for certain use cases, products that we have. Today's webinar is primarily doing a live demo of one of the products that we sell. Today we're going to be focusing primarily on PSPDFKit for Web, which is an SDK that enables access to view and manipulate PDFs in a web application, either through a web view or a browser or something like that. Behind the scenes, I have Guillermo, who is one of our engineers from our web team. He is here to answer any questions or help with documentation. At the end of the webinar, we'll provide a multitude of information, including my email, links to support, how to get in touch with the sales team. So a lot of entry points in terms of getting in touch with us and going from here. So great. I will go ahead and get started by sharing my screen. Okay, wonderful. All right, so you should be able to see our website. Go ahead and kill the bookmarks part. So you should be able to see our website. You can find all this information on pspdfkit.com. Again, we're talking about our PDF SDK, a little bit about the company itself. We have been in the industry for more than a decade. We primarily started as a mobile SDK, providing support for viewing and annotating on mobile apps. Some of those well-known apps are listed here below, including like Dropbox, DocuSign, Autodesk, which is a large entity in the construction and engineering space, as well as certain airlines and things like that. So we got our start in the mobile space. Several years ago, we started looking at other tools such as support for web applications, server-side processing, batch processing, certain APIs. So we've made an effort to really enhance different ways you can manipulate PDFs, either programmatically or through kind of a UI-based application. So cool. So jumping into here, so kind of where we'll start off is, again, we provide a number of different solutions. Today we're going to primarily talk about our web SDK. You can see kind of the different, functionality. We'll cover everything from viewing, marking up PDFs, being able to collaborate similar to tools like, Google Docs, some more advanced stuff that, is more limited in the industry as well. And then, as we continue to expand our offering, we continue to add different file types so that you're not limited only to PDF, but you're able to use our tools across other things. So just a quick note, you may be evaluating us for a number of different things, but, aside from web, we do have the mobile SDKs on, iOS, Android, Flutter and React Native. We also have other open source hybrid wrappers such as Xamarin, Cordova, Ionic that we also allow you to integrate our native bindings with as well. Desktop as well, Windows, Catalyst, Electron, and we have APIs as well for a lot of, automation in terms of, batch processing documents into PDF, watermarking, and things like that. So cool. So I'll jump in right into this web demo. So, starting into our web demo, kind of mirroring what we just said. So what you're looking at here is basically our web SDK. I've rendered a PDF, which is our feature list right here on the right side of the document. You'll see a custom sidebar that we've added. PSPDFKit remains incredibly customizable, so you're able to affect the UI, how it's integrated, so you can display and interact with PDFs as you want. So out of the box, you'll probably see something more similar to this when you render a PDF, but we've included a custom sidebar as well, as you can see with this example list that comes in and out that allows you to manipulate documents. So on the top are branding and a couple things, switch from light and dark mode, and a couple different ways. So talking about our web framework, there's two different integrations that we have enabled. One's called server backed, one's called standalone. So we provide two different ways to integrate our technology depending on a couple different parameters of how you wish to interact with documents. Both are fully trial. The key differences that you're going to see is that our standalone web SDK is deployed entirely client side. So what that means is you'll get access to basically the JavaScript client, and then all the rendering of the document, all the manipulation is happening in the browser. So what that means is, with this integration, all the workload is offloaded to the client, and it runs in contexts where no server is available. Maybe you need offline support. Maybe you just need a quick integration. We have a more integrated approach that starts including different things such as downloading pages on demand, lazy loading, server-side processing, and APIs. We call that PSPDFKit web server backed. So you see the toggle here between standalone and server backed. The key difference in this deployment is it's still entirely self-hosted like standalone. Is we deliver a Docker container that you run in your own data center or your cloud provider account, which accesses your existing storage PDF files. That helps perform the rendering and the manipulation of PDF files while still integrating with the JavaScript client on the front end. So you're able to have more of a collaborative approach. You have more of a full cycle of rendering the documents, doing things on the back end, and things like that. So yeah. So when we look at web, we do a lot of different things. So kind of the highlight. So each SDK is tailored for the operating system or the backend that you want to do. So you look at iOS, it works on that operating system. We have different integrations for like Swift and C++. Android, Java, Jetpack Compose, Flutter speaks for itself. React Native, same. So we've built a number of engineering SDKs that allow you to work with the language that you're building your app in. The web app comes with a lot of different things such as Angular, React, TypeScript, things like that that help you with front end development as well. Okay, so usually in our journey, the first thing we're trying to figure out is what type of application you're building and things like that. From there, we have a full component list. So what kind of separates us from the industry in a lot of different ways is this is highly customizable. So if you're working with our trial key right now, that has every component that we currently offer in it. When you move to a production key, licensing and pricing and things like that, we're able to tailor that to only what you need. So, understanding we're 10 minutes in, the rest of the demo is going to be focusing on these components and what these components can do for you. So, starting with the viewer, we'll jump over to this other screen and we can go through some of the viewer functions. So PDF viewing, there's a lot of different ways to render a PDF. You know, there's certain open source tools like PDF.js, which allows you to render documents in. There's PDF Vium, which is an open source renderer that is managed by Google. PSPDFKit is actually forked off of PDF Vium almost 10 years ago. We've built a significant amount of proprietary closed source functionality on top of that, which, you know, gives us the added benefit of the core rendering being exposed to, you know, a significant amount of users, since it is backed by Google and it's used in Chrome, which is the most popular browser in the world, as well as, you know, having our team of engineers, you know, building the proprietary stuff we've done on top of that. So, yeah, so when we look at our viewer, we come in. So kind of the first thing we talked about is, you know, everything you see here is very customizable. You know, we look at the user interface. If I want to be able to customize the toolbar, I'm able to, you know, move certain things around. I can disable certain functionality. So, you know, you might be integrating us into like a DRM or something like that. What that allows you to do is, like, you know, you can come in and disable printing, exporting. Maybe, you know, there's a ton of annotation tools, but, you know, maybe we only want to really offer people the ability to highlight and things like that. So we can continue to customize this. So you're giving the user experience that you want to. You know, a good example of this is, like, you know, if we come into the viewer and we look at, you know, the magazine, like a custom UI that we have for the magazine, we've moved the toolbar to the bottom. You're only zooming in and out. We've got highlighting instead of the full toolbar and a couple other things like that. So, you know, the idea is allow you to take the SDK and then, you know, and then customize it in the effort that you're able to provide what you want to customers. So that's great. Like we kind of covered on the thing, we do and allow you to work with other document types. So we have images. You can also, you know, look as, you know, we are converting a docx file, or, you know, one of these to allow you to render those documents as well. So we can do PowerPoint, we can do Excel, we can do Microsoft Word and things like that. So a lot of different cool things there. So we'll go back to our viewer from our home page. Okay, we'll kick over there. So a couple other great things that our viewer can do. Coming over here, we have the ability for a thumbnail, so we can see different thumbnails in terms of what we're looking at. Helps me navigate. I can see an outline of the document. You can also see annotation lists. This is all in the viewer, so we're able to pull up different things that have happened to the document during its life cycle. Being part of the PDF, being part of the kind of the PDF world, we do a lot in terms of adhering to the PDF spec and the specifications around that. So that allows us to, you know, really QA and be cross-compatible with other readers like Adobe and things like that. So, like, you know, if something had an outline, you know, I'm looking here at our viewer, something had an outline here, you know, opening that up in a different reader would allow that to be compatible and pull. So I'm using an outline here. You're also able to bookmark pages. So I could bookmark this page here. And then maybe we scroll down here, bookmark page 2. Save it here, and now I'm able to kind of jump in front. So, you know, super interactive from a viewing standpoint. You know, zooming in, you know, if you're in a construction or you have very detailed PDFs, being able to zoom in incredibly and seeing it, seeing the fidelity of the PDF is important. We do a lot of testing. We have a lot of clients with millions and millions of users, so we get the benefit of having a lot of different documents go through our SDK. So. Our product. Other things, viewing. So if I wanted or searching, excuse me, I'm able to search within the PDF and toggle those results. I can download it locally if I need to. I can download the PDFs locally. And then pull it up here so you can see. Yep. Aside from that, that's some of the core features from our viewer. One thing I will say is everything here is typically linked to a code sample within our documentation. So, if something like this is close to kind of the end state of what you want to do, we can save you additional development time by kind of playing around with here and finding different examples. Okay. So that was, I'll do this, I'll fit the screen. So that was our viewing component. So we're going to jump ahead to annotations. Annotations is probably one of the most common reasons why people come to PSPDFKit. Excuse me. Viewing, is one workflow, but really being able to render a document within your application, mark it up, and then save it back to the application without leaving and going to another solution, or just having control of the document lifecycle is something really big for us. Security is always an issue. So there's a number of different annotation types that we have. I believe I'll use this last page and we'll add one so we can go through the different annotation types we have. Save that real quick. We'll scroll up on my thumbnails and we're back in. Okay, so in terms of annotations, we have freehand annotations. So you're able to just use your stylus, your mouse, your finger, whatever type of tool you have to draw on the PDF. This is just an ink annotation. We also have highlighting, where I can do freehand highlighting. And also can erase this stuff if I need to, if I didn't like it. I'm going to bring it back though and kill my highlight with my undo redo. But one of the things that makes PSPDFKit unique is not only can we do this, but we give you an entire inspector. So allowing you to really customize the annotations in terms of changing the color. We can do the backfill, that, as well as kind of the opacity of the annotation. If you're overlaying an annotation on top of each other, we have line thickness, things like that. So you have the ability to really customize. You can set these as different defaults as well. So if you need, your industry requires you to mark things up in red, you could set the default ink annotation to red instead of PSPDFKit blue. But we tend to stick to blue since it's one of our primary company colors. So that's annotations in terms of the core four here. If there are, if you do have text-based annotations, you can come in here and use our text highlighting. So if the text is extractable, selectable, searchable, if the document OCR'd, you're able to do that. We also give you the ability to use your cursor to, select the text, and then we have a pop-up for different things, including highlight, strike through, underline. So this is a great tool in terms of collaborate on certain things to be able to give feedback on, what you're seeing in a document. So, and then as we kind of showed out in the viewer, all this is being logged. So every time I do something with the document, it's being logged somewhere, which is fantastic. You can either get the point where you include API names, or you can include author names through an API so that you're able to dictate who did what, when, and things like that. So that's really exciting for us to be able to do that. So we'll go ahead and kill the sidebar. Cool. So yeah, that's some of the core annotation types that we have. Other annotations that you could do, you can add a stamp. We use the same stamp template as Adobe. So, that cross compatibility, if you're coming from Adobe into PSPDFKit or vice versa, you're able to use the same stamp templates. We also allow you to upload images if you need to upload an image to the document. I don't have anything handy right now. Actually, we can do this. I can put an image on top of an image, so I can draw this into here. Rotate the image depending on what it is, and then if I want to kind of bring this behind the existing one I did, I can change the opacity there. So I've got some control there. on what I want to do. So I can put this on top of that. So make sure that it's approved. So image annotations and things like that. We also have the ability to do link annotations, which is something really cool. So, if I like this facts or fiction, I can come over here and then I can link it to something. So, maybe I want to send us to PSPDFKit.com. Do that. And now I have, anytime someone comes here, it sends me to the website. I can also do something along the lines of like, maybe I want to have everyone skip to page 9. So I come here, I click here, and I quickly go to page 9 because I like seeing this stuff here. So being able to create link annotations, follow them, things like that is a great annotation type. So, all right, so a couple more, just ones you probably expect: freehand text or text annotation, so free text, being able to do that, as well as, comments, so commenting on things. So, different, you've seen me on the other one, different, shape annotations. We do a lot of customizations for certain industries. So like, in the construction industry, we see cloud annotations or cloudy borders being used quite a bit. So we've added that to our standard annotation type. So, if we go back to the viewer and we wanted to make that a standard annotation type, we could be able to do that. So everyone's able to use it. So yeah, annotations. I don't see any questions so far, so we'll just keep on moving. Wonderful. Okay. So that's viewing annotation. So as you see, we've got a pretty exhaustive list of functionality that you're able to do with our framework. So we'll keep going for a couple more minutes, and towards the end, we'll start putting some information on where you can get more, where we can engage for maybe a customized demo and things like that. So we'll cover some form and signature stuff as a kind of our next step. PDF Acroforms is a PDF annotation type that is great to be able to consume information, share information, and things like that. So, in terms of our form support, we're able to recognize any type of existing PDF form and things like that. So, don't take it from me. I can upload the sample PDF. Oh, let's see. There we go. We'll try this again. Okay. Go ahead and load. All right. Try uploading this sample PDF. Okay. And so I'm able to find out, name. I'm able to recognize that it's a PDF field. We've got drop downs here, insert ones. Also like address. We support tick boxes, radio buttons, all kinds of stuff. And then we've got different buttons that, end up, triggering certain actions like that. So yeah, one of the cool things about this is, obviously this is a lot of front end manipulation, but you're able to also programmatically, connect things. So, if we look at other PDF forms that I have within our example, we can show that, things can be programmatically filled out. So if you want your first and last name to be programmatically filled out, you can go ahead and pre-fill this. You can also take all this information back and, do what you want with it, load it in your database, analyze the information. So like you can also programmatically fill in forms, but you can also export that information as well. So it's a great thing to use in kind of your workflow. We also will recognize signature boxes. So you probably saw in the toolbar, we have a signature field here. So I click on the signature box, I'm able to sign with a multitude of different ways. I can draw, I can upload an image of my signature. I can also type my signature. So this is not a signature, but I'll use the same image. So I uploaded the image I've been using. It automatically sizes it to the signature box and things like that. We also have we can also do it here. I can type it here. So we'll go Johnny. Yeah. So we'll do clear my signature. Yep. And then if we need to store that signatures or reuse it, you can do it as well. So wonderful. Cool. Other than that, we have a few other things that might be interesting in terms of PDF forms. So over the past couple of years, we've been working on the ability to not only render and field existing forms, you can also create form fields. So what that means is, whether you have a template or not, or you need to change certain form fields, we allow you the ability to edit the form. It's our form creator. So, maybe I want to take this date field away and I want to create another signature box. Our form creator will allow you to do this. So, if you have maybe a document that you need someone to sign, I can come in here and build that form on the fly here, which is it's a really powerful thing. So I'm able to maybe drop a signature box. I can come in here and put text, and I can be I need CEO's signature. Maybe we need their name as well, so I'm able to go back to my form creator and then maybe put a text box. Maybe I want his name here, and then I can come in and check with the style. So maybe I'll make this red just because I really need them to do it, and I can rotate it if I need to. So lots of different ways to do this. So if I ever flatten it and then I bring it out into another one, you can see that it's here, and I can fill out form, things like that. I turned it upside down in the form creator, so that's why it's rendering like that. So form creating is a big thing. We see us used in a lot of e-signature workflows and things like that. So there's a lot here you could do in terms of taking existing PDFs, fill them out, but also creating PDF forms, creating signature boxes, things like that. As we kind of said, with the form filling, you can programmatically do this as well. So if you needed to drop like an initial box programmatically in the bottom left of each page, you'd be able to do that. So a lot of functionality here that you can play around with. But we're really happy with this and seeing what you can do with our web framework. The last thing on kind of the signature journey is digital signatures. Every country has different e-signature laws. The prevalence of digital signing has really increased in the past couple of years. So, PSPDFKit can provide a vehicle to apply, verify, and render a digital certificate. So what that would look like is you sign. Through the signing process, you apply the digital certificate. PSPDFKit is then able to say and recognize that there is a certificate on the PDF. It is valid. Nothing's been happening, so you have a way to verify the document. What it also does, it provides the added layer of security that if the document is manipulated, it immediately invalidates the signature. So if you have anyone editing the document, then you have the ability to control that. The document should be no longer valid. So very cool feature, growing in popularity for sure. And as more and more companies, e-signature solutions and things like that are adopting digital signatures and stuff like that. Okay. So that was a large portion of kind of the core functionality that we've licensed for several years. We'll get into some of the niche things that we see with our customers as well. So I'm gonna delete some annotations, clean this up a little bit. So I'll just drag this and delete. Cool. So document editor, you've probably seen me use it a couple times on the demo today. What document editor allows someone to do is basically edit the document. You add pages, you can rotate pages. It's more document level editing, being able to import documents in as well. So I can import that PDF form I have, and then I'm able to save it and then render the new document. So you see the page I added plus the PDF form we were working with earlier. So document editing allows a lot of document level editing that you typically have to jump out to another third-party tool. So now you'd be able to do that within your application without ever leaving. And then you can save it back directly to wherever you want, whether it's back to your database, back to downloading it locally. You have a lot of control of the document workflow and cycle now. Content editing, this is something we've put significant kind of development efforts in lately, as we see more and more customers asking for this type of functionality. So what content editing, so a lot of the stuff we showed today is essentially adding a layer to the PDF. Like I'm annotating the document, but I'm adding an additional layer to it. The text that already exists on the document, I can highlight it, but again, it's adding additional layer to it. When we talk about content editing, I'm able to take the PDF as itself and edit the underlying layer of text. So I'm going to enable content editing. Our engine runs and finds all the text that it can see. And now what I'm able to do is I'm actually able to edit the text rather than only annotate on top of it or something like that. So thank you for coming to the webinar. This can extend to, so we have a webinar, what's today? June 13th. And then my name in. So I'm able to edit the document a little bit more. Don't really love the size of this text. We'll make my name smaller, and then I'll save my changes. So now I'm able to edit the actual underlying document as well. So like when you pair this with like the form creator, you're able to do a lot of different stuff in time to editing a form. So like a lot of the times we see customers coming in and using this. So like maybe you have this PDF form that was built years and years ago. Maybe you don't maybe you want to change email, like you don't want emails anymore, or you don't need, or you have phone numbers, but you want cell phones because, just things change. So being able to come into the content editor and going for, cell phone number or something like that, it allows you to edit the document. Maybe you misspelled something by one letter while you were converting it to a PDF. You could come in with the content editor and edit that. We're working on a number of things, but extending it to paragraphs and things like that. So you have a lot more flexibility with working with PDFs that is traditionally a static document type, where you're able to use the text as well as annotate on an additional layer. So content editing, very popular component and provides a ton of functionality to kind of make you more interactive with PDFs and things like that. And kind of one thing to say here is like you have the ability to kind of save over the underlying original PDF or create a new version of it. So like you're not always locked into always replacing the PDF. You can always do another version of it. So cool. So that's document editor. Let me kind of decrease. So we're making our way through here quite a bit. So viewing, we've done this. Document editor. Okay. We did cover, the ability to convert office files and image files to PDFs. So that is, a core type into, everything we've shown today. You take those documents, you get them in a PDF format while we render it, and then you're able to use these tools as well. So like, really opens up the ability to use a lot of different tools. Okay. Measurements and document compares are more kind of engineering, construction drawing specifics. Typically, we actually run another webinar that is specific to the engineering workflow. So being able to do that, I would welcome you to join that or find one on our blog that shows you kind of the more engineering specific stuff for that. So the last two we're going to do is redaction. We're going to cover just like what our support looks like for redaction. And then we're also going to jump over to a tool called PSPDFKit Instant, which is a proprietary tool that we've built that rivals, like tools like Google Docs and things like that, that allow you to collaborate on PDFs in like real time and stuff like that. So redaction, we can run through this one really quick. So one of the big things with redaction and a lot of engines in the kind of industry is most of the redaction that you'll see is, we'll look at application agreement. If I search the PDF for agreement, I get two hits. I get one here, And then I also get one here. So I get 2 hits. So what a lot of vendors do, which you have to be careful, is like when they do redaction, they put an annotation on it, they flatten the document, and then when I open the document again, hold on, open the document again, it looks like it's gone. Like I'm not seeing it anymore. I don't see the highlight that we did. But if I go search for agreement again, I'm getting 2 hits again. So like, although it's not visible, like it's still there. So if we come back to our web demo, we come back to redaction. Again, we'll look up for agreement for twice. If I select this and I click my redaction tool, so we have 2 different ways. We have a toolbar way to redact. So I can highlight this. Okay. We're going to put an overlay text within our test. When we redact it, it'll be on top of it. Okay. I want to redact in black. Yep. Okay. Click on this. Maybe we leave a note. We're running a webinar 2.0. And then I'm going to apply this redaction. Okay. So following the same process we did last time, I'm going to download it locally. I'm going to come over here, open it up. Okay. And I'm going to look for agreement. I only have 1 now. So what we've done is we've removed that from the document. So that text is no longer discoverable. The information's been removed. So what that allows you to do though is like irreversibly take information off of the document. So there's a lot of functionality here that you can build off of. We have area redaction, so you're able to select different parts of the document to do that. We've also created some built-in searching redaction. So being able to search for, I'm going to look for agreement again. I'm going to mark it for redaction. I'm going to preview it and I can apply it. We also have some smart redaction tools where like it can programmatically find certain things within the document that it says, hey, I think you should redact these things, which is incredibly helpful. So like we did an auto detect for sensitive information, emails. So you can see that it's pulling social security numbers, emails, phone numbers, bank codes, things like that. You're seeing a lot of different stuff. We can come in. Maybe I do want to keep email, so I'm gonna allow email to stay in, but it saves a lot of steps in being able to mark stuff for redaction. So cool. Yeah, and then last thing, we'll jump over to PSPDFKit.com. So often when you look at PDFs, it's a very static thing. One person, the next person, the workflow, which might be what you need. You need one person to look at the document, they mark it up, you send to the next person. There's a lot of workflows, like maybe for board meeting apps, for construction and engineering when you have people in the field versus people at home. Maybe you have a collaborative whiteboard, maybe it's teacher-student, where you need multiple people working on the same document. A lot of the problems that happens when you have multiple people working on the same document is you get different versions of the document. It's very different to keep up with what is the latest version, who's doing what. So we created PSPDFKit. We basically brought this to the market, which allows you to do a couple different things. So one of the first thing it does is, everyone that has access to the document, what it allows me to do, if I annotate this document, everyone accesses, gets it, the updates in real time. We're sending these changes back to your server in real time. Again, PSPDF is entirely self-hosted, so you're deploying this on your server. But what it allows for much more of a collaborative approach where anytime I change anything on the document from any person, everyone's getting updated. All right. Let's say I want to come in and I want to kill this first page. I just don't want it anymore. I'm going to save it. Everyone with access now has been notified that they need to reload the document. There's a new version. So this is a really great tool. Whether it's I jump from different devices, I go from my mobile device, I go to my desktop, I need the latest document all the time. So it works offline. If you're offline, then when you come back online, it syncs all the changes back to the server. So there's a lot of things here. One of the coolest things we've introduced is basically instant comments. So like, hi Richard, how's the webinar? So what that does is it allows me to have threaded comments as a sidebar, much like you see in Google Docs. Well, only 5 more minutes though. Okay, so I'm able to have back and forth comments on here. We allow you to edit the content. You can delete it. You can do, again, author name so we know who's doing it. You can also do @mention so that you're able to tag certain people. So this is a great tool to be able to kind of bring in more of a collaborative approach if you have different people working on the document. We've even introduced permissions, which allows you to dictate who sees what. Maybe you're sitting at a board meeting, everyone's sharing the same document, but you want to make some individual comments or marks on the deck. You can set your permissions to each. You can set your permissions to each annotation to who can see them. Do I see them? Does everyone see them? And so in this short demo, you can see like a teacher-student interaction where we're controlling who sees what. And so that's really important in terms of being able to do that. Wonderful. So yeah, we're just going to jump ahead a little bit so you can see the locks on the annotations. You can do what's public and what's private and things like that. Cool. So it looks like we only have a couple minutes left. Before we go, just wanted to kind of introduce you to a couple more things on the website. There's a wealth of knowledge here in terms of like how you can use our solution. We have a industry specific page where, maybe you're working in the construction industry and you want to see, maybe some of the customers that work with us, different use cases of how we can help you. And then we went over a lot of components today. So one of the things we do at the bottom is we actually make suggestions on what components we think would be helpful for your use case. And then, we have specific, landing pages for them, but then we also link you to the demo that we did today. So if you wanted to come in and run certain demos on certain functionalities, you'd be able to do that. So that's on our solution page. We also have a wealth of documentation for each product, including, a change log of releases, the API structure of everything, and just general customization, integrations, FAQs, things like that for you to do that. Our documentation is not paywalled. Everything's there. You're happy to go through it and do that. So, other resources, including the blog, this will be posted to the blog afterwards. It'll be posted to the webinar. We also have blogs where you can see, certain things about development. We have customer spotlights where we work with, where customers explain how they use us. You can see, Board Pro, we can see financial services, Austrian government, FC and Bayern, CMIC. There's a lot of things here, IBM, how they're using our framework. And then lastly, if you're interested in getting started and doing a technical evaluation, we provide a trial key that enables all components that we covered. We watermark the PDF, but when you move into production, it removes the watermark. You can come here, and today we went over a web SDK. Maybe you're going to do this in Angular, and it's a new project for you. So get you started, get you integrated. The guides are specific to Angular, then you'd be up and running and using all our offerings here. If you need any other functionality that you need, we do provide support. It's one of our strong points here. You get to work with people like Guillermo in the background of the call today. You get to connect directly with that team. We can handle this through our online ticketing system. We can set up a call and things like that. And lastly, what does it cost? Please feel free to get in touch with our sales team. We just want to hear a little bit more about what you're working on. We have, a great deal of interest in, learning what you're building, how things are going. Once you send this, it goes to the team, and our team will reach out to engage and learn more. You can schedule a call directly with us, or you can come into support as well. So a lot of different ways to get in touch with us. I'm going to put my contact information here. So if anybody wants to get in touch with me, it includes my mobile number as well. So Again, want to thank everyone for joining today. This will be sent out an email, but it will also be posted on our webinar page. So again, thank you very much. And I look forward to next time. Have a great day.